Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into today's story. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a comment below. What would you do if you were in Lily's shoes? Could you take the offer? Let us know. The next day, Lily sat at her small kitchen table, staring at the letter in disbelief. The offer from James Carter seemed like a dream, one she never thought would come true. She ran her fingers over the envelope once again, as if trying to convince herself that this wasn't just some elaborate prank. But no matter how many times she looked at the letter, the words were still there, clear as day. I would like to personally thank you for your kindness and offer you something in return. It was real, too real, and now she had to figure out what to do next. She had never been one to take risks, especially not big ones like this. But what choice did she have? Her rent was overdue, her student loans were piling up, and she had no way out. The weight of the world seemed to hang over her shoulders, pressing her down with each passing day. And then there was the matter of James himself. She had no idea what he wanted from her. But the offer he made was too generous to ignore. Was it a chance to change her life? Or was it some kind of trap? She wasn't sure, but the more she thought about it, the more she realized she had to meet him. She needed to know why he was doing this. She needed answers. Lily arrived at Brooks Bistro, feeling nervous but determined. The upscale restaurant had an air of elegance, with its dimmed lighting and polished wood floors. It was the kind of place she'd only seen in movies, where rich people dined in their designer clothes. She felt completely out of place, standing there in her simple dress, but there was no turning back now. As she walked toward the table where James was sitting, she couldn't help but feel like everyone was staring at her. But when she reached him, James rose to his feet, offering a warm smile that made her feel a little less nervous. What would you do if you were in Lily's shoes? Could you take the offer, or would you walk away? Let us know in the comments below. The days passed slowly for Lily as she mulled over James' offer. She couldn't stop thinking about the conversation they'd had at the bistro, replaying his words over and over in her mind. A temporary marriage, a life of comfort, free from the financial burdens that had been weighing her down for years. It was a dream, but a dream that felt almost too good to be true. Could she really trust him? Was she just another pawn in his world of high stakes and luxury? She wasn't sure, but she had to make a decision. She had been to the same cramped apartment, felt the same pressure to make ends meet, and seen no way out. And then, this, a chance to escape that life, a chance for something better. She had no family to lean on, no one to ask for advice. It was all on her shoulders. The thought of a new life, a chance to breathe without the constant weight of debt, tugged at her. But at what cost? What if it wasn't what it seemed? What if James was just offering her the illusion of a better life? The night before she was supposed to meet James again, Lily couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned in bed, her mind racing with 1,000 questions. Was she really ready for such a drastic change? Could she really go through with something as strange as a paper marriage? And what would people think if they found out? But in the quiet of the night, a realization hit her. She had no other choice. She couldn't keep living like this. Maybe this was her chance. The next morning, Lily went to meet James, her decision made. She walked into the same bistro where they had first met, the same familiar hum of conversation and clinking silverware filling the air. James was already there, waiting for her at the same table, his calm demeanor as collected as ever. As soon as she sat down, he looked at her with an expectant smile. As Lily left the bistro, a strange mix of emotions flooded her. She had just signed away her freedom, but in return, she had been given the chance at a new life, one filled with possibilities she had only dreamed about. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, Lily felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe this wasn't just about money. Maybe this was about something more. Only time would tell. What do you think? Was Lily right to take the offer, or should she have walked away? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more. The weeks passed quickly after Lily signed the contract. Her new life felt like a dream she was still waking up to. She moved into a luxurious apartment in a high-rise building, far from the cramped, noisy space she used to call home. Every corner of the apartment gleamed with elegance, the sleek furniture, the stunning city views, the soft lighting that bathed the rooms in warmth. It was everything she had ever wanted, yet it all felt so surreal. At first, the change was overwhelming. Lily had never lived in a place this grand. She still couldn't believe it. Every day felt like a test. She had access to things she never thought possible. The finest food, endless shopping, and no more worrying about bills or rent. It was as though she had stepped into a completely different world, one where she no longer had to struggle just to get by. But as much as the luxury was tempting, there was an emptiness that crept into her heart. She had agreed to this arrangement because she needed a way out of her old life. But now that she had everything she thought she wanted, she realized that she didn't know what she was really doing. Her feelings about the situation were complicated. On one hand, James had given her a chance to live without fear, but on the other, the idea of their marriage still felt like a lie. It was supposed to be temporary, but Lily was beginning to wonder how long she could keep up the act. James kept his word. He didn't ask her for anything beyond what was outlined in the contract. He had his own life, his own responsibilities, and they didn't interfere with each other. But they would occasionally cross paths at business events, charity galas, or the occasional dinner at one of his private events. At these moments, Lily couldn't help but notice how charming and kind he was. He always treated her with respect, and there was an ease in his presence that made her feel safe. One evening, they attended a gala together. It was an extravagant event at one of the city's top hotels, with celebrities and business moguls in attendance. Lily had never felt more out of place, but when she stepped into the ballroom with James, she felt a sudden sense of confidence. People greeted them, and James introduced her as his wife, the smile on his face making it clear that he was proud of her. The moment made Lily pause. She hadn't realized until that very second how much she had begun to care about the way he looked at her. After the event, as they were leaving the venue, James turned to her with a soft smile. "You were perfect tonight, Lily," he said. "I know this isn't easy for you, but I want you to know I appreciate everything you've done. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this." Lily felt her heart flutter at his words. Despite everything, despite the contract and the circumstances that had brought them together, there was something about James that felt real. It wasn't just the money, the luxury, or the status. There was a quiet sincerity in him that made her wonder if this could ever be more than just a business arrangement. But as they stepped into the elevator, James's demeanor shifted slightly. His smile faltered for a moment as he pressed the button for the penthouse. Lily could tell there was something on his mind, something he wasn't saying. The air in the elevator grew thicker with unspoken words. "James?" Lily asked quietly, her voice breaking the silence. "Is everything okay?" He looked at her, his expression unreadable for a moment. Then, with a small sigh, he nodded. "Yeah, everything's fine. It's just—" He paused, as if gathering his thoughts. "I don't want you to think that this is all just for show. I know what we have is unconventional, but I need you to know that I'm not just doing this out of obligation. I'm doing this because I want to help you." Lily looked at him, surprised by the vulnerability in his words. She had never heard him speak so openly. It was as if, in that moment, they both realized that the lines between their contract marriage and real feelings had begun to blur. The elevator doors opened, and they stepped out into the penthouse. The view of the city skyline at night was breathtaking. James led her to the balcony, where the lights twinkled like a million stars below them. Lily stood there, feeling a strange mix of emotions, confusion, hope, and fear. She wasn't sure what she was feeling anymore, but one thing was certain. This wasn't just about money or status anymore. Something had shifted, and it left her wondering if she had made the right choice. "I think we both deserve more than this," James said softly, his voice just above a whisper. "But I also know that if we keep going like this, things might get complicated. I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'm glad you're here." Lily turned to him, meeting his gaze. For the first time, she realized that she wasn't just a contract for him, he was offering her something more. Maybe not love, at least not yet, but something real. A connection that went beyond the business arrangement they had created. She didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time, Lily felt like she had a chance to rewrite her story. She wasn't just surviving anymore, she was living. What do you think? Is this the beginning of something real for Lily and James? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. As the weeks went by, Lily began to settle into her new life. The initial shock of living in luxury had worn off, and now there was a strange calm in the air. She still had moments when she wondered whether this was all real, or if it was just a dream she was afraid to wake up from. James had kept his word. There were no strings attached to their arrangement, no expectations beyond what they had agreed upon. But as much as she told herself it was all business, Lily could feel a shift inside her. She was starting to care, starting to feel like this life, this partnership, could be something more. One evening, after a quiet dinner at his penthouse, James invited Lily to join him for a walk around the city. The night air was crisp, and the streets were bathed in the soft glow of streetlights. As they strolled side by side, Lily couldn't help but notice how comfortable she felt with him, how natural it was to be near him. James was always composed, always in control, but tonight, something in his demeanor had changed. He seemed more relaxed, more human. "Lily," he said softly, breaking the silence. "I've been thinking a lot about us lately. I know this arrangement started as a business deal, but I can't ignore the fact that it's become more than that for me. I care about you, and I don't want you to feel like this is just some contract that can be easily discarded." Lily stopped in her tracks, her heart racing. She hadn't expected him to say that. She had tried to keep her emotions in check, tried to remind herself that this was just a temporary arrangement. But hearing him say those words made everything feel so much more real. She had been avoiding confronting her own feelings, but now there was no escaping it. She cared about him too. "James, she started, her voice faltering as she looked up at him. "I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to feel the way I do. But I can't help it. I've started to wonder what this could be. If it's more than just a contract, more than just us playing a part." James reached for her hand, his grip gentle yet firm, and led her to a bench nearby. They sat in silence for a moment, the sounds of the city surrounding them. He looked at her, his eyes soft, almost vulnerable, and Lily felt a twinge of hope rise within her. "You don't have to have all the answers right now," James said, his voice steady. "But I think we both know this is not just business anymore. There's something here, something real, and I'm not going to let it slip away without trying." Lily's chest tightened. She had known that what they shared wasn't just about the arrangement. There was a connection between them, something that couldn't be explained by money or status. But she was scared. Scared of what it meant, scared of what would happen if they let their guard down. "I don't know what this means for us, James," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know if I'm ready to jump into something real. I've been through so much. I don't want to risk getting hurt. But I'm scared that if I walk away now, I'll lose something that could be everything." James smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You don't have to decide all at once," he said, his tone reassuring. "But whatever happens, we'll take it one step at a time. I'm not going anywhere. I want to see where this goes, Lily. And I think, deep down, you do too." In that moment, Lily knew he was right. She couldn't deny what was growing between them, the undeniable bond that had formed, even though it had started as a contract. Maybe it wasn't perfect, maybe it wasn't what she had imagined her life would be, but it felt real. And sometimes, that was all that mattered. Over the next few days, Lily and James continued to spend time together, slowly navigating this uncharted territory between them. They attended more events, shared quiet dinners, and talked about everything and nothing. The more they were together, the more Lily realized that she was falling for him. But she was still cautious, still unsure if she was ready to admit it. James, on the other hand, seemed to be opening up in ways he never had before. The man who had always been guarded, always in control, was now showing her a side of him that was raw and vulnerable. He wasn't just the CEO anymore, he was James, the man who cared about her, the man who wanted to build something real. One evening, as they sat on the balcony of his penthouse, looking out over the city, James turned to her with a serious expression. "I'm not asking for anything, Lily. I'm not asking you to change anything. But I want you to know that I'm here. I'm in this with you, for as long as you'll have me." The words hung in the air between them, and for the first time, Lily felt her walls crumble. She didn't need all the answers, didn't need everything to be perfect. She just needed him. And maybe, just maybe, she could let herself have that. What do you think? Can Lily and James make it work? Is this the beginning of something real? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. As the days turned into weeks, Lily found herself caught between two worlds. There was the life she had come from, filled with struggle, uncertainty, and constant worry. And then there was this new life, one of luxury, opportunity, and a relationship that had started as a business arrangement but was slowly becoming something deeper. The tension between the two sides of her life grew more intense with each passing day. On the one hand, she knew she couldn't deny how much her feelings for James were growing. But on the other hand, she couldn't shake the fear that this might all come crashing down. It was a warm afternoon when everything finally came to a head. Lily was sitting in her new apartment, staring out the window at the city below, when she received a call from James. He asked her to meet him at one of his private events, a fundraiser for a charity he supported. She agreed, though she was anxious. There was something in his voice that made her wonder what he was about to say. She dressed carefully, choosing a simple yet elegant dress, knowing the event would be full of people who were used to high society and luxury. But as she walked into the ballroom, she couldn't help but feel like an outsider. James was already there, standing in a corner with a group of executives. When he saw her, his face lit up with a warm smile, and he excused himself from the group to greet her. He was the picture of confidence in his tailored suit. But there was something in his eyes that made her wonder if he was just as nervous as she was. "Lily, you look stunning," James said, taking her hand and leading her further into the crowd. "I'm glad you could make it tonight." "I wouldn't miss it," Lily replied, trying to keep the conversation light, but she could feel the weight of the moment hanging between them. Something was different. She wasn't sure what it was, but she could feel it. As the night went on, James and Lily exchanged small talk, but Lily could tell something was weighing on him. He seemed distant, his usual easygoing demeanor replaced with a quiet intensity. She had never seen him like this before, and it made her uneasy. Finally, after an hour of mingling, James led her to a private corner of the ballroom. The noise of the crowd faded away as they stood there, facing each other. James took a deep breath, his expression serious. "Lily," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I've been thinking a lot about what we've built. I know this started as a deal, a contract. But somewhere along the way, it became more than that for me. And I can't ignore it anymore." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had felt it too, the shift in their dynamic, the connection that had grown stronger with every day they spent together. But hearing him say it out loud, in such a raw, honest way, was both comforting and terrifying. "I care about you, Lily," James continued, his eyes searching hers. "Not because of this arrangement, but because of who you are. I want more than just a paper marriage. I want something real with you." Her breath caught in her throat. This was the moment she had been dreading, the moment that would force her to confront her own feelings. She had known this was coming, but she hadn't expected it to happen so soon. "James, Lily started, but her words faltered. She wasn't sure how to explain the confusion inside her. She had feelings for him too, but everything was so complicated. She had never expected to be in a relationship like this, and she didn't know if she was ready to throw herself fully into it. "I know this is scary," James said, his voice softening as he took a step closer to her. "I know we've only just started to scratch the surface of what this could be, but I can't pretend that I'm not falling for you." Lily looked up at him, her heart racing. She had never imagined her life would take this turn. But here she was, standing with the man who had given her everything she had ever dreamed of, and now he was telling her that he wanted more. More than just a contract, more than just the superficial arrangement they had built. He wanted her, truly. She took a deep breath, letting the words sink in. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Scared that I'll mess this up, that I won't be enough. I'm not used to things going right, James." James reached out, gently cupping her face in his hands. "You're enough, Lily. You're more than enough. You've always been enough. And I don't want you to feel like you have to be perfect. We can figure this out together, one step at a time." For the first time since their arrangement began, Lily felt a sense of peace wash over her. Maybe this wasn't all just a contract. Maybe, just maybe, this could be real. She didn't have all the answers, but she knew one thing for sure. She was willing to try. She was willing to take a chance on him and on herself. What do you think? Will Lily and James make it work? Or will the complications of their arrangement tear them apart? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more. After that night, everything changed. James and Lily's relationship grew deeper, more connected, but at the same time, it became more complicated. The boundaries they had carefully set at the beginning seemed to blur with every passing day. James was no longer just the man who had offered her a way out of her old life. He was someone she had come to care for, deeply. And Lily? She was beginning to feel something she hadn't expected, something real. But with that real connection came real fear. It was a quiet morning when Lily woke up to a message from James. He wanted to meet her at one of the city's most exclusive locations, a private art gallery where he was hosting an event. She felt a flutter of nerves as she read the message. This wasn't just a casual dinner or another charity event, it was something more serious, something that felt like it would define the next chapter of their relationship. When she arrived at the gallery, Lily was greeted with the usual warmth from James, but today there was a strange tension in the air. As they moved through the event, chatting with guests, she noticed a look in James's eyes that she hadn't seen before. He seemed distant, almost preoccupied. "James, is everything okay?" Lily asked, sensing that something was off. He gave a small, tight-lipped smile. "I'm fine, Lily. Just a little distracted," he replied, but his words didn't match the look in his eyes. Lily could tell something was weighing on him. After the event wrapped up, James led her to a private corner of the gallery. The walls were lined with beautiful paintings, and the soft lighting gave the room an intimate feel. He turned to face her, his expression unreadable. "Lily," he began, his voice low. "There's something I need to tell you. I've been thinking a lot about us, about this arrangement, and I realize now that what I want from you, it's more than what we agreed on." Her heart skipped a beat. She had been waiting for this moment, the moment when they would finally confront the truth of what was happening between them. She had been trying to ignore the feelings building up inside her, but now, there was no escaping them. "James, I don't know what you mean," she stammered, unsure if she was ready for what he was about to say. He stepped closer, his gaze intense. "I mean that I want this to be real, Lily. I don't want us to keep pretending that this is just a contract. I've fallen for you. I care about you in a way that goes beyond any agreement we made." The words hit her like a wave. She had known it deep down, but hearing him say it out loud made her feel exposed. She had spent so long guarding her heart, unsure of what this relationship really was, but now it was clear she had fallen for him too. "James, she started, but the words caught in her throat. She wanted to say that she cared about him, that she felt the same way, but a part of her was still scared. Scared of giving in to feelings that could change everything. James took her hand in his voice softer now. "I don't want you to feel pressured, Lily. I know we've both been through a lot, and I'm not asking for an instant commitment. I just want you to know that I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. If you need time, I'll give it to you." For the first time in weeks, Lily allowed herself to truly think about what she wanted. She had spent so much time focusing on the uncertainty, the fear of making the wrong decision. But standing there, with James looking at her with so much sincerity, she realized that maybe she wasn't as scared as she thought. "I'm scared, James," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I've never been in a relationship like this. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in with both feet, but I know that I care about you. And I want to see where this goes, even if it's terrifying." James's face softened, and he pulled her into an embrace. "We'll take it one step at a time," he whispered. "I'm in this with you, Lily. I always will be." In that moment, everything felt clear. They had started this journey as strangers, bound by a contract, but now they were something more. They were two people, learning to trust each other, to open up, and to build something real. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was worth it. They were worth it. What do you think? Is this the moment Lily and James take their relationship to the next level? Will they find the courage to build something real together? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Days turned into weeks, and Lily and James continued to grow closer, but with each passing moment, the weight of their unspoken feelings seemed to grow heavier. They had shared their fears, their hopes, and their desires, yet there was still something hanging between them, something that neither of them was willing to fully confront. Lily had been living in James's world, a world so far removed from everything she had ever known, but as much as she had come to enjoy it, there was a part of her that couldn't shake the feeling of being an outsider. She wasn't sure where she fit into this life they were building together, or if she even belonged in it. One afternoon, after a particularly long meeting with clients, James came home earlier than usual. Lily was at the kitchen counter, quietly sipping her tea, when she heard him enter the room. There was a tiredness in his eyes, something that hadn't been there before, and it made her wonder what had been going on in his world. James had always been the strong one, the one who had everything under control, but tonight, something was different. "Hey," James said, his voice softer than usual. He walked over to her, taking a seat across from her at the kitchen table. "I need to talk to you about something." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She put her cup down and turned to him, her eyes searching his face for any hint of what was coming next. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. James hesitated for a moment before speaking again. "I've been offered a promotion, actually. It's more than that. It's a chance to take my company global, to expand in ways we've never imagined. It's everything I've worked for." His words were measured, almost rehearsed, but Lily could hear the weight behind them. She nodded, unsure of what he was trying to say. "That's amazing, James. You've worked so hard for this." James let out a deep breath. "It is amazing," he agreed, but it's also a huge responsibility. And it means I'd have to travel a lot more, be away from here, from you. I'd be taking on more than I can handle alone." He paused, looking at her with a quiet intensity. "I need you, Lily. I need you to be by my side, now more than ever." Lily was silent for a moment, absorbing his words. Her heart was pounding, and she couldn't help but feel a surge of emotions. This was the first time James had openly said that he needed her. He was always in control, always the one providing. But now, he was asking for her support, for her to stand with him as he stepped into a new phase of his life. And as much as she wanted to say yes, to be there for him, a part of her was terrified. "James," she said softly, "I want to be with you, but I'm scared. Scared that I won't be enough, that I won't be able to keep up with everything you're doing. You've built this empire, and I'm just—" She stopped herself, shaking her head. "I'm not sure I belong in your world." James reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "Lily, you already belong. You're more than enough. You're the one who's been here for me, the one who's kept me grounded. I don't want to do this without you. I can't do this without you." His voice was raw, vulnerable in a way she had never heard before. It was a side of him she hadn't seen, and it made her heart ache. She looked down at their hands, her mind swirling with uncertainty. Everything about their relationship had started as something unconventional, something temporary. But now, it was clear to her that it was no longer just a deal, it was real. She cared for him in a way that she had never imagined, and for the first time, she realized that she wasn't afraid of that anymore. "Okay," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "I'll be with you. I'll stand by your side." James smiled, the weight lifting from his shoulders as he stood up and pulled her into a gentle embrace. "Thank you," he whispered, his arms around her tightening. "You don't know how much this means to me." And in that moment, Lily knew that they were ready. They had faced the fears, the uncertainties, and now they were ready to take the next step together. No more pretending. No more hiding. This was real, and they were in it together. What do you think? Can James and Lily make it through the challenges ahead, or will their fears pull them apart? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. As the months passed, James and Lily's relationship blossomed into something neither of them had expected. What had started as a business arrangement, a deal that seemed like the perfect solution to their respective problems, had transformed into something deeper, something real. Their bond grew stronger with every challenge they faced, every moment they shared together. James, once a man who relied on his empire and his career for fulfillment, now found himself grounded by Lily's love and support. And Lily, who had come into his life thinking she was just filling a temporary role, now felt a sense of belonging she had never imagined before. It was a crisp autumn evening when James took Lily to the place where they first met, the art gallery that had played such a significant role in their journey together. The room was quieter than usual, the lights dimmed just enough to give the space an intimate feel. James had arranged for them to have the gallery to themselves, the quiet hum of the city below serving as the perfect backdrop. They walked slowly through the rooms, admiring the art, but the real conversation was happening between the two of them. For the first time in their relationship, they were not surrounded by the chaos of business meetings, charity galas, or public expectations. They were just two people, alone in the world, enjoying each other's company. "I've been thinking," James said as they paused in front of a painting. "We've come a long way, haven't we? From that first night when I offered you that deal to now. I never imagined I'd find someone like you." Lily looked up at him, her heart swelling with emotion. "I never imagined any of this either," she said softly. "You've changed my life in ways I never thought possible. I was just trying to survive, trying to get by, and then you came into my life. And now, it's not just about surviving anymore. It's about living, really living, with you." James smiled, his eyes filled with warmth and something else, something deeper. He took her hand in his, squeezing it gently. Lily, I want to make this official. I don't want to just be your partner in business anymore. I want to be your partner in life, in everything. Will you marry me? Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had known it was coming, she had felt it deep down. But hearing him say it, seeing the sincerity in his eyes, made everything feel real. All the fears, the doubts, the hesitations they had both felt along the way, it all melted away in that moment. Yes, she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Yes, James, I'll marry you. The world seemed to stop around them as they stood there, in the quiet of the gallery, their hands intertwined. James leaned in, kissing her softly, the common kiss, a promise, a vow that everything they had been through, every struggle, every tear, every moment of doubt had led them to this point. From that moment on, James and Lily knew that their future together wasn't just about a contract or a business deal. It was about love, trust, and the shared dream of a life built on something real. And as they left the gallery that night, hand in hand, the city lights sparkled below them like 1,000 tiny stars, a perfect reflection of the new beginning they were embarking on together. What do you think? Will James and Lily's love story continue to grow stronger, or will the challenges ahead test their commitment? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more.